All right, welcome back to another video here at Built by Miller. Progress report on getting the motor into the Z. Right now I'm going to be working on getting this transmission ready to go into the back into the car tomorrow. Oz is going to come over and help me get it in there. So tonight trying to knock out everything I can, so that way in the morning we can just slap that sucker in there. So let me show you a few things here. All right, so right here you can see where we had to shave off a little bit around the bell housing. Took out about 2-3 millimeters. When I bolted this transmission up to the engine, you could see that it was touching just barely, the flywheel was, so had to grind that out just a little bit. Took a flapper disc, did that before I scrubbed it real good. Cleaned a lot of this crap in here. It was really dirty. Previous owner was not running the dust shield. Looked like it had scooped up all the dirt and debris for like 50,000 miles. It was pretty gross. And then back here, the speed sensor has just been cut off completely. The plug has been cut off, so I got to put a new one there. You know, ideally I'd like to probably get like a full rebuild or do a little bit better job of fixing some of this stuff, but trying to get this thing rolling. I think there's also supposed to be like a shield right here. I've seen in some photos they have a shield. I don't have that shield, but I think it's going to be okay. Let me know in the comments if you think that's going to cause an issue down the road. Looking at some of the stuff that we have, so the previous owner did put one of these Z1 short shifters on there. It's kind of dirty, so I'm just going to clean it up. Maybe put some new grease in it and call it a day. Hopefully I can figure out where all this crap goes. It's been a while since I took it apart. I've got a brand new dust cover boot for the fork, which is this piece right here. The old one I think has a rip in it. Yeah, here's my old one. Got a little rip in it, so we'll be swapping that out. Here's my clutch fork with my new bearing pressed. I did that in a separate video. Press that new bearing in there. Clean this up a little bit. This thing needs to be cleaned off. This is the plate that goes inside the car that holds part of the, I think it's the, I don't know what this thing is called right here. Whatever the heck this thing is called. Holds that piece right there. And then I've got somewhere, I think inside the car somewhere, I've got these new, so we'll probably just toss these in the trash. Here's a ground wire. Clean that up a little bit so that we can strap that back on. This ground wire goes on the transmission. From Z1, I got this chromoly pivot ball and washer. It's supposed to be some type of upgrade. Goes right here on the transmission. To be honest with you, I can't really tell the difference of what's in there. Maybe this one was already upgraded. This one looks to be like a little bit flatter than the one I'm putting in, so not sure if that makes a difference. Here's a plug that I basically robbed from the AC switch, so I'm gonna have to end up buying another one of these because when we go to run AC we'll need this again. So note to future Simon, make sure you get one of these. But what we'll be doing is just wiring this in place right here, so that way we'll have a proper plug instead of what the previous owner did and just kind of twist it up. So I'll cut and solder these things on there, put some heat shrink on it, so it'll be nice and watertight. And then last but not least, this good old dust shield. So this plate, this one here goes between the flywheel and the motor, and I think this one just kind of bolts to the bottom. I'm actually gonna cut this in half. I'm gonna probably like draw a line here. What I'll do is I'll draw a line here and cut this right here, and then I'll cut it like right here. The reason for that is it doesn't make sense to me to have to take your flywheel off to take this shield off. To me, that's just crazy, because let's say one day you want to take a look at your rear main seal, or you're trying to get in there to do something. This plate is going to be kind of obstructing your view unless you take the flywheel off. And yeah, future Simon, I don't want you to have to worry about doing that. So I'm just going to cut this thing in half. It's still going to work the same. This bottom plate will seal the hole that's right here, and up top it'll be between the motor and the transmission, so it shouldn't be an issue. So I'm going to cut that thing in half just to make it easier to take on and off in the future. That's about it, and we'll see how that goes. right, so in the time lapse you just watched, me and Oz struggled for like 2 hours to get the transmission into this car, and we ultimately failed, and then we end up having to get a transmission jack, which is behind me in the box, to help get the transmission in, as well as I had to remove one of the hard pipes from behind the engine. So real quick, let me show you, if you can, Jonah, move around right there. So this hard pipe right here, I think mine was just bent or something, and it was in the way, and it would not let the engine get at the right angle for me to be able to get the output shaft from the transmission into the hole where the clutch is. So I had to take that off, and then I was able to get the right angle. On top of that, I had to get the transmission jack. Highly recommend you just go ahead and get you a transmission jack if you're doing this job. It made it so much easier. With the transmission jack, you can actually change the angle of the transmission, and that was super helpful, so that's what we had to do. But as you can see, transmission is in. Maybe show them the little shifter there. Transmission is in. Give them a little view underneath, Jonah. And so that was one of the biggest milestones for this car, getting this car running again. I have to make sure you stay tuned and subscribe, and see you in the next video.